In this video, we'll take a look at how to perform CRUD operations using the latest version of Laravel. Laravel provides an elegant API to create, read, update, and delete any resource in your application. We'll build a simple UI as a proof of concept for how the user will interact with our application. Everything we do in this video will be available at GitHub, so feel free to use or extend this for your own projects. As you can see, we have a fresh installation of Laravel, and the first thing that we need to do is set up our database credentials. So I'm going to open up my .env file and change the database name to, you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to say Laravel CRUD. The username is root and the password is secret. So let's save that, close it out, and we need to actually create the MySQL database. So mysql-u root-p, and I'm going to enter in my password. Finally, let's just create the database using create database Laravel CRUD. And we can exit out of there, and then we can run the migrations. Perfect. So now let's open up web.php file, which is the located inside the routes folder, web.php, and here is where you register all your routes. What we need is some way to create, read, update, and delete posts, right? So we can register a new route called /posts, and actually let's just create a new controller, so we don't have to do it here. So you can say post controller class, and the action name is going to be called index. We need to create this controller, so use app http controllers, and the name of the controller post controller. And now we need to create this, generate this post controller. So php artisan make controller post controller. Let's open up post controller, and add this index method, right? So public function index, and here we need to output all the posts, but in order to output all the posts we need the post model. So let's generate that, php artisan make model post, and along with the post, because it's a new model, we need the migration as well. Migration file is where you define all the columns for your particular table. This is the migration file that I generated, and we can open this up, create post table. And to keep it simple, we're just going to have two fields, the string of title and content of content. And sorry, not the content, this is going to be text. You can check out the Laravel's documentation to see all the options you have available for the column types. Next, we need to run this migration to create the post table. We can say php artisan migrate, and that will migrate the post table. So now we also have this migration, and we've run that migration that created a post table in our database. And also, if we open up app models, it created a post model, which can be used to query the database for posts. So if we import that model up here in our controller, we can say app models post, and we can just return. Actually, let's just die and dump all the posts. So post all. And if we open this up in our browser, it's called /posts. So let's open this up, /posts. You can see it's an empty array because we don't have any posts yet. So let's create a dummy post. I'm going to say php artisan tinker, and we can say post. Actually, we can't use post create because never mind. Let's create a new post. It needs to be app models post. Okay, and then the title is going to be my first post, and the content is gonna be my first post content, and then we can save the post. If you do that and refresh the page, you can see the items array is now filled with one model. And if you open that up and look at its attributes, we have that post. So, but we don't want to display it like this. We want to have some HTML. So let's go back to post controller. Instead of dying and dumping, let's save these in a variable called posts, and then return a view, and it's going to be called posts.index, and we're going to pass in the compact post. You can do this, or you can define it like so: posts and then the post variable. So this is how you pass data to your views. So let's open up our sidebar and go to resources, views, and in here we need to create a new folder called posts, and inside of that folder let's create a new view called index.blade.php, and we can just generate some HTML. And I'm thinking I'm gonna need some sort of UI framework, but I don't want to use Bootstrap or anything like that, so let's use TailwindCSS. And let's go to TailwindCSS, and let's just include the CDN. This is not actually recommended, but let's just go with it because it's just a dummy project. Okay, so what do we need? Let's create an h2, and that says my post title, and we can define that. We can add some utility classes to it. Text to Excel. Let's go with Excel. Let's make it bold. Let's make it text gray 900, so dark gray color. So let me refresh the page. My post title, and we can add a paragraph. Let's make it MD. Text gray. Let's make it a little bit grayer, a little bit lighter. There, my post. Let's just say Laravel. So that's your post. And let's add a container here. Width 900 pixels. Max width 100%. Actually, we can add utility classes for max width. So we can say max width full for max width 100%. Refresh the page. We need to also say MX auto, and then we'll copy that, paste it here. It looks okay. So let's add some padding top of 4. It doesn't look that exciting, but let's go with it. And I'm just gonna wrap this inside a div, or if you want you can use an article tag. Let's actually output the posts from our database. So since we passed this posts variable, it's going to be available to us in our view, and we can loop through it using add for each. Post as post, and for each. And I'm also going to add some sort of margin, bottom to 4, or let's go with 4 or 2. So let's create another post just to see if it gets added to the list. So I'm going to say my second post content, post, save. Oh, so we also need to add a content. So, and the title, just title. Let's save the post and see it in the browser. Oh, so I need to update the title and the content. So we can output anything. We can output anything using the curly braces, and then the name of the variable, so post title, post content. Save that, and let's take a look at it in the browser. So now this is directly coming from our database. Let's go back to our controller and see what we need to do next. Okay, so now we need to add a link. So when we click this, we can go to a page where we can update the post. So let's go here and add another one, get. This needs to be post and update. Edit. Actually, this can be /post/edit. So this is gonna open up a form where you can update any post. So let's add this method in our controller. And we say post equal. So actually Laravel is automatically going to inject the post if you pass a post ID. And so we will have the post here like so. We need to type in the post class here. So we say we're looking. So we're basically telling Laravel that we're expecting a model injected here. So and in here we just return the view. So return view, and we say posts dot edit, and we pass the post and we pass the post like so. So let's create that view. Edit.blade.php, and you can actually, if this was a real world project, you're probably gonna need a layout, but I'm just gonna copy everything from index to edit, just for simplicity. Okay, so this view is going to have a form. The action is going to be /post/ the ID of the post, so we can grab the post using the post variable. And remember, we passed that in our controller, and so we need to say post and then the ID. This is where the form will submit. So post / the ID of the post, and the action, the method is going to be, well, it actually needs to be put, but you can't actually say put here because HTML doesn't support that. So you need to say post and then say add method and say put. That will tell Laravel that, hey, we need to submit to a put endpoint. And so also you're going to need to add CSRF, and that will basically protect you against any cross-site request forgery attacks. Alright, so we need an input, and I have a little snippet here that will generate an input for me. So this is the title, and let me capitalize that. And we need another one for the content. Let's capitalize that. Actually, we don't need an input tag, we need a text area tag. So that will create a text area for us, because this is supposed to be the content of the post. So I'm gonna refresh the page and go to /1 /1/edit. Okay, there we go. We have a title, a content, and this content is a text area. So actually, let's just say H12. So just so it's a little bigger. I don't know if H12 exists or not. I know for a fact H16 is supposed to exist. So yeah, there you go. So you're gonna enter in your title, your content, but we need to inject the title and content as values. So we need to say, all right, the value is the post title, and for the text area we need post content, and you can see it's working. Let's add a button. So I have a button snippet, and that needs to just say update. So when I click this update button, what I want to do is update the post. So if I say updated and click this update button, I need it to update. So what happens when we submit the form? Well, when we submit the form, it sends a put request to /post/ whatever the ID is. So we need to create that endpoint. Create a new endpoint for put and say post, and then the ID of the post, and we'll say post controller class, and then update. Okay, let's open up our post controller and add the update method. This will also have the post variable. So okay, so now let's just die and dump everything we get, just to see where we at. Request, and I'm gonna say everything. So when we submit the request, you can see along with the method and the token, we have title and content. And so what we need to do is simply update the post. So you say post, use the update method, and provide in the title, which is the request title, and the content is going to be request content. Okay, let's save that. But before we do that, we also need to validate the title and content in fact exists in our request. So to do that, we just say request validate and provide in any validation rules. So title is required as well as the content. So let's save that and refresh the page. Continue. Okay, so it says add title to fillable property to allow mass assignment. So what's basically happening is Laravel is trying to protect us against certain type of attacks. So what we need to do is go to our post model and add a protected field. Let's call it fillable. And this just says, hey Laravel, just let me mass assign title and content. So when we refresh the page, this should work. And it doesn't say anything, but if we go back to our post list view, it says updated. Let's go back to our controller, and in here, after we update, I just want to return a redirect back to /post, and let's try it out again. So post, and then edit, and you can say updated again, update, and you can see that it's working. So now we can view all posts, we can update the posts as well. So we need a way to create new posts. Route get /post/ create post controller class, and then create. Let's go back to post controller and add this method up here. Public function create, and this will basically return a view. Post.create. Let's create that view. Create.blade.php, and again I'm gonna copy the edit page and remove the put method here, and remove the values like so. And when we update the method, we want to post to /posts and not /post/id. So when we do that, let me go back here and add another endpoint. This is going to be post/posts, and this needs to be store method. Let me add the store method in the controller now. So public function store. We need to validate the title and content exists. So let's copy this and paste. Okay, next we need to create a new post, and the way to do that is say post create and then all the fields. So title is going to be request title, content is going to be content. Just next, after we create a new post, let's redirect back to the all posts page. Now let's test it out. So if we go to post/create brand new post title, this is brand new post title content, and update. As you can see, the new post is created. Finally, let's make it easier to go back and forth between these pages instead of manually typing out the URL in the browser. So let's add the link here. So we need to go to index.blade.php, and instead of h2, let's use an anchor tag and say href that goes to post/the post ID and /edit. So let's refresh the page. And if you click on any of these, go here. So also let's just change the text to make it look like the link. So instead of text gray 900, let's go text blue 500. There you go. When you click on any of these, you go here. And actually, let's add another thing after the post content. Let's add an HR, just so we can see the separation between each post. So there you go. Let's add a little bit of margin top. It's margin top 2, save, and you can see it looks better. And let's add a title here. Say h1 class font bold, and we need the text to be 2XL, and I'm gonna add margin bottom 4, and I don't know, you can set my blog or something. So there we go. Let's make it 4XL. There we go. So you can go to any particular post. You can edit the post. You can click update. And also let's add another button here that says add post. So I'm gonna say Tailwind simple button, say add post, and I'm gonna add the link to that. So it says it's supposed to go to /post/create. And let me add some margins. So margin Y4. So from top and bottom we need 4 pixels. So when we go to add post, you can add a new post, another new post, another new post content, and we can click update. That will create another new post. Just or let's add a back button here. So go to edit.blade.php, go up here above the form. Let's say Tailwind button and say go back. Let's make it an anchor tag with an href that goes to posts. Or actually, let's go down here with the update button. After the update button, let's add another one that says cancel. Let's change this to gray 500. So you can update or cancel, but let's make it an anchor tag. So anchor href/posts. Change this here as well. Save this, refresh the page, and now we can go back as well. Behind the scenes, I also added the cancel button on the add post page. The last thing that I want to cover is the process of deleting a post. So when we click on any of the posts, we go to the edit page, and in here, let's say that we want to add a delete button. So whenever they click on this delete button, we want to remove that post. So let's go ahead, let's open up our edit.blade view, and in here we want to add a new form, action post, and then the ID of the post, and we need the CSRF field, and also we want to specify that the method we want to use is delete, and the button, well, let's just use the same button, delete. Also, I want to change the color of the button to red. Okay, let's save that and check it out in the browser. Let's add a little margin. So margin left 4. Okay, that's fine. So when we click this button, this form is submitted, and Laravel is going to interpret it as sending a delete request. So let's go back to web.php. Let's add the delete route here. Post/post ID, post controller, and destroy method. Destroy. We will have that post. All we want to do is delete the posts and then redirect them back to the posts page. And as you can see, my first post has been deleted.